A technical difficulty. I had to begin an entirely new stream, and you won't know exists until you get the notification. So I'll let the camera run here for a few minutes. Okay, welcome to From Rome.Info video. My name is Brother Alexis Bugnolo, and I am the publisher and editor of FromRome.Info, an electronic journal for news and commentary about Rome, Italy, the Vatican, normally speaking, but on an extraordinary mission here in Poland, cover the war in the Ukraine. And I think for color and warmth, I will keep my hat on today. As you can see, I am in the center of the old town with the beautiful statue of Sigismund III, King of Poland, carrying his sword against the Turks. He defended Poland against the Turks. And the old, I think this was the old municipal building here, right above there. And it's a beautiful, we're in the old town. I'll spin the camera around so you can see where we are. There's a little clock tower here. And you get a view of the city over here. Okay, pardon to everyone due to a technical difficulty. I had to begin an entirely new stream, and so the notification you got a couple hours ago brings you to the wrong video. I'm sorry about that, but that's YouTube. The war in the Ukraine is progressing somewhat in what people expected and others not. So there has been a massive war on social media among trolls. I mentioned that the other day. And the war has gotten so much is that each side is even claiming different kind of losses. This morning at FromRome, I published a map showing two different versions of the war. One is the Russian version and one is the Ukrainian. And in the Russian version, Russia's taken 30% or maybe 40% of the country. And in the Ukrainian version, the Russians have not gotten further than the first few days' gains they had. And the truth is that they're both measuring gains different ways. The Russians are measuring gains by where their military units have gone, and the Ukrainians are measuring gains by where the Russians are in control. And Putin imagined that the Ukraine, like himself, wants to rejoin a new Soviet Union and be part of Russia, and that the past is the present. And he expected to be welcomed in the Ukraine like Hitler was welcomed in Austria with bands and flags, but it didn't work out that way. And he's getting a response in the Ukraine even stronger than ISIS got a response in Syria, I think to say. And the Ukrainians are fighting with a courage and a verve and a patriotism that is pleasantly surprising the world. I don't think anyone would have foreseen it or predicted it who is in the West, and that's probably because we don't know Ukrainians so well. And the Russians just can't take cities. They can't hold them. The whole population's rising against them, and everyone's doing what they can to attack the Russian units as they get separated and attack their supply lines. And with that level of resistance, you can't take the Ukraine with 180,000 men. So Putin's military plan is complete failure. I saw that last night. And the high military command of Russia, with all the information they have already understood this. If you remember a few days ago, I published my speculations about how peace negotiations would go. And I speculated that Russia would ask for a complete surrender of the Ukraine, or ask for large parts of the Ukraine, or ask for the parts that they already control, or ask for a ceasefire. I never imagined they would ask only for what they had before the war began. And that's what they did this afternoon, early this afternoon, in the third round of peace talks with the Ukraine, which is amazing. It's shocked almost all the observers, and it confirms what most of the Western media was showing, that Russia is having great difficulty prosecuting this war, and they don't have sufficient military forces. The morale of the units are insufficient. They don't have sufficient support, and the population is just totally against them. And they can't possibly win this war. The best thing they can do is get out and keep the Don, they're asking for the independence of the Donbass and Luhansk region and the acquisition of the Crimea, regions which they technically held de facto before the war began. And that means they're basically admitting that the Ukraine won this war. And my opinion, Lukashenko should accept the offer, even though it represents a small loss in the integrity of the Ukraine. But it will give the Ukraine time to greatly strengthen their military defenses, because I don't think Putin has given up. I think that what Putin will do is you want me to call the police? Okay, be gone. I think what Putin will do is rearm Russia and come back with a stronger force the next time. I don't think or an entirely different strategy. So, excuse for the interruption of some left-wing mimers out there who just want to profit from other people's transmissions. So I'm very surprised, and this is a very positive, and it might mean if Zelensky can just calm down some of his, theatrical acts and think for the good of his country, I think he should accept the offer, and then hostilities will cease, and people can get back to their homes, and both sides can rebuild their country and bury their dead. And that would be the best thing to do. Am I entirely confident that Zelensky will do that? No, I'm not. I kind of think that Zelensky will not do that, and that he will be ordered by the World Economic Forum not to do that, but we'll see. But this stunning outcome in the peace negotiations, well, it might be that Putin's only offering it to make time while he reorganizes his military. But I kind of think it represents that, what I said before, that Putin is in serious personal difficulty. The universal sanctions, a thing he didn't expect would happen, has greatly impacted the pocketbook of the oligarchs that rule Russia, and they've given Putin an ultimatum to end this thing quick. And if Zelensky accepts this offer, I think it will not be surprising to see that Putin will be removed from power within 6 months, because if they got Putin to basically say he asked for nothing after this war, there's going to be a long resentment against Putin that he failed. And Putin was only a star in Russian politics because he produced things. He was a success. And this will be his ultimate failure. And it will be in the interest of the oligarchs to put in someone who is learns from the lessons of Putin, is more intelligent, and knows how to deal with the West, and realizes that economic prosperity is far more advantageous than war. War is an old-fashioned form of way of seeking economic prosperity. It doesn't work in the modern world, where the citizen believes he's sovereign and that he doesn't have to kowtow to elites. And in ancient times, when wars were waged, they were waged about one elite controlling the land against another. The common man really, whether he fought on both sides or not, it didn't change his lot much. But postmodern man, that's not that way. They want self-government. They want to have a say in their government, and they don't want a foreigner telling them what to do. And the Ukraine has shown that. Ukraine has shown that we have entered a new age of political identity, you might say, where if a people feel strong enough, no army can take them. And this is an amazing discovery. Shows the strength of the human spirit, of the strength of the Christian spirit of the Ukrainian people. They draw this from their faith, and they just want to be free and independent people. And if Zelensky accepts this offer, it's going to cause the heads of all these Russian trolls to explode. So I've been getting a lot of Russian bots come over from Rome, and I think they're coming through the Telegram channel, because I had opened a Telegram channel just 2 weeks ago. I've closed the channel, and I will not be publishing the Telegram anymore for the duration of the war, because there's no point letting people attempt low-grade propaganda in my comments that no one ever sees. I mean, they're just wasting their time, and they're frustrating themselves. And I get a delight erasing stupid comments. It absolutely turns my day, but as a friar, it's Lent. I shouldn't be taking pleasure in such things. So I turned off the Telegram feed. I'm here in the center of the old town, or the edge of the old town, Poland. And I wanted to show you something that's very important. You find in almost all European cities. And since most of my readers don't live in Europe, they don't know this. But you can see the city had a wall. Now, if you notice, that wall is made of brick. And that's because this city was destroyed by the Germans and it was rebuilt. And so that wall was rebuilt with brick, which probably wasn't the original stone there. It's just a reconstruction. But when the world was Catholic, governments built walls. And that's because they knew that the wall was the ultimate defense against brigandage, criminality, even against sometimes plague, floods. The wall around Catania actually protected the city from a volcanic eruption. And the walls around cities controlled against crime and allowed the city to raise taxes through tolls and things of that sort, and gave people the best security. And they were communal projects. They could not be built without vast amounts of handwork, and they created industries of themselves of stone making and cement making and brickwork. And they were a way of society worked together to protect itself, even on the city level. And they created a great identity in each of the cities and enabled cities to build these absolutely beautiful buildings that you would never find in cities without walls. And this is why Europe is much more beautiful than the rest of the world. And they had a sense of the dignity of the city, where other countries it just spreads out like suburbs and it's like oozes out all over the world. And you have politicians that really don't care about anyone. That's probably true in Europe too, but in ancient times it wasn't, because if you didn't care for the people would suffer and then they would get rid of you. And this is what I think we're going to see in Russia in a certain sense. Russia has taken a hard blow from the sanctions, from the war, from the infamy of what they've done. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Putin has never married. And for that reason, I don't think he knows how to woo a woman. And he wants to force himself in the Ukraine, and he completely failed. The Russian people and the Ukrainian are people of the same stock. They're the North and Southern Rus. They were once one tribe. And if they are destined to be united, it must be in brotherhood and love, not in violence and hatred and force. And it can't be fulfilled in private dreams of a former KGB agent. So that was a big surprise in the news today about the peace talks, and let us all pray that President Zelensky of the Ukraine accepts this offer and ends this conflict. And that will be the way of bringing about the quickest and most effective end to it. Hopefully there will be guarantees that Russia will not begin hostilities again. We should do like they did in the Middle Ages. Well, if we agree to peace, you must agree that you will not attempt any more hostilities against the Ukrainian people for like 25 years or something like that. You should say forever, maybe. And we'll see what comes from that. So this has been my Monday afternoon report from the old town Poland on the progress of the war in the Ukraine. A lot of men are still joining up. There's now 1 million refugees in Poland. Poland has done a wonderful thing. It's going to allow them to not only enter the country without papers, but work 18 to 36 months here and live here without documentation. And that shows how much Poland is a Catholic nation and very much unlike any other European nation. We just compare it with Hungary, which is often praised in the press. Hungary is not even allowing anyone to sell arms to the Ukraine to defend them, whereas Poland is not only giving them arms, and is taking their people in and giving them a chance to work. So Poland is the lights on Poland today, and this will magnify the reputation and influence that Poland has for decades to come as a great nation, a great Christian nation. God bless you all from Warsaw. My name is Brother Alexis Bugnolo. This has been my third report on the war in the Ukraine, live from Warsaw. Pace bene.